What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, man, Jet Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy before you end up like Beezy, man. Make sure y'all follow my Instagram and Twitch, man. In the description down below, everything you know about your boy Jay, it's in the description down below. Make sure y'all subscribe to my second channel too, y'all, in the description down below. You know what I'm saying? But we got 3 disturbing true janitor horror stories, man. And man, being a janitor, man, you gotta appreciate them people, man. Like, no lie, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, appreciate the janitors. Like, for everybody that's in high school, bro, you know what I'm saying, middle school, whatever grade you in, bro, appreciate them janitors, man. You know what I mean? Because I got some janitors I will never forget, like Mr. Jack. You know, Mr. Jack was my middle school janitor, bro, at Carver Middle School, man. You know, everybody loved Mr. Jack, and ain't gonna lie, we had this one little mean janitor named Miss Connie. Ooh, Miss Connie was mean. Well, Miss Connie ain't play. Everybody knew not to play with Miss Connie. Everybody knew to pick up that trash when you see Miss Connie. You know what I'm saying? See Miss Connie. Everybody pick up that trash. You know what I'm saying? Pick up that trash when you see Miss Connie. Miss Connie knows she was mean, but she could make a mean slushy, though. You know what I mean? She was just a janitor, but she was everybody knew not to play with Miss Connie, boy. That was my janitor at Webb Elementary, at my elementary school. And one thing back then, y'all gotta understand, bro, in Alabama back then, everybody had paddles. Nigga, the janitor had paddles. Shoot, the librarian had a paddle. Everybody got it. Raise your hand if you went to one of them schools where everybody had a paddle. Boy, I remember Miss Bowie. Oh my God. Miss Bowie, bro, was my 4th grade teacher. Everybody know when we went in Miss Bowie class, do not act the fool. Yeah, back then, bro, in Alabama, y'all probably looking like, bro, what? Bro, back then, bro. And I know what some people watching this back then, bro. Teachers used to paddle us, bro. Principals paddle. I'm talking Miss Bowie used to pull your pants up so it's just straight butt cheek. That was a white lady too, old white lady. Who used to hit like she black. I was like, ooh. I got a couple paddles by Miss Bowie. I was like, good God, I can act a fool anywhere else, but I ain't ready for that act a fool up here though. I made sure I was on my best behavior when I was in Miss Bowie class. Oh yes, I was talking about she pulled the pants up straight butt cheek. She made sure the meat get. She teased it for a little bit. Oh, she teased it for a little bit. Me and my boy Burkivia, and I mean my neighbor Burkivia, bro. We used to get the most pat up on the boo. When Miss Bowie used to pull her pants up, she'd tease the butt cheek a little. Tease it. Fire! God! You know what I mean? And it's like, parents used to give permission, bro. It was different back in the day, man. But heck yeah, man, janitors, man. And then another thing, bro, we finna get into the video. Me going to school, I used to feel sorry for them janitors, man, cleaning up after them nasty kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, me going to high school, bro, like, my middle school bathroom wasn't really that bad, but high school, I'm talking about the bathroom on Green Hall. Oh, my God. If y'all went to Langston, y'all know what I'm talking about. That little bathroom by that lunchroom with that yellow hall. I think it was yellow hall. Yeah, yellow. Oh, my God. Bro, I knew not to go in that bathroom. I'm talking about, bro, you just know how stank people really. I'm like, bro, you really this dirty, bro. I used to hold my pee. You know what I'm saying? I used to pee, bro, but I used to hurry up and get out. I used to hold my breath going in the bathroom sometimes. Like, just pee right quick. Nigga, I ain't used to wash my hands. I try my best to get up out that thing. I'm like, dang, bro, a lot of y'all really stink. But I know I got some people watching me right now that stink. Watching me right now. You watching me right now in the room, filthy, just stink. Look at you. Smell like green eggs and ham, built like a sack of laundry. You know what I'm saying? Just watching me in that stank little room. I'm calling people out, yeah. Oh, yeah, if you stink, get your butt up, go take a shower, and clean your dang room. All that filth around your room. Look at that nigga looking like, nigga, if you gotta look around, then you stink. Girl or boy. You know what I'm saying? I know I got some stinking people watching me right now, just stink, built like a sack of laundry. Got all that stuff around your room watching me filthy. Man, girl, you filthy. Boy, you filthy. Bro, turn me off and go clean up your dang room. Freak you is watching me like that. Watching me and you'll know your room filthy. A lot of y'all bathrooms filthy. Got them big old roaches in your bathroom. That's why you should never spend a night over people's houses. You want to spend a night with me, bro? You come over here. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, bro. I just had it. I don't know. I feel like I got some stank people watching me right now. I feel like I just got a whole bunch of stank niggas and stank people watching me right now. Let me get a thumbnail time. I'm being dead serious with y'all, bro. You laughing. I'm being dead serious, but go clean your room, gang. I know I got some stank people watching me. I know I do. That little filthy old room, bro. How can you feel? I never understood, bro. How can you feel good in that funk? Like I just think about it, bro. Like you gotta be a nasty person to be filthy. Like my room is so clean. Like it's like you gotta be a nasty person to be in funk. How you feel comfortable with funk? You go in your bathroom, piss around your toilet. It's like how? You dirt around your tub. Like, nigga, how? Nigga, stink niggas.
I used to work as a custodian at a middle school for almost 5 years, and I was usually on the overnight shift. I would clock in around 10 at night and stay until right before the sun came up, when the buses started pulling in.
10 at night, nigga?
At first, I actually liked the job. I didn't have to deal with the kids running down the hallways, teachers complaining about stuff, or anyone really. The quiet didn't bother me, and I liked being left alone to do my work. But as time went on, I started to notice how different the school felt at night compared to during the day. It wasn't just quiet, it felt dead. The building creaked and groaned like it was breathing, and when you're the only person in there, even the smallest sound will set you on edge. You'd hear a locker pop open on its own, or the pipes knocking in the walls, and your brain would make you think it was footsteps. I learned to ignore a lot of that, but one part of the school I never really got used to was the basement. The school was old, built in the 1950s.
1950s?
And the basement ran underneath half of it. It wasn't finished nicely like the classrooms. It was a concrete maze of storage rooms and long, narrow halls with pipes and wires hanging overhead. Some of the rooms were full of old desks, some had boxes of outdated textbooks, others had broken furniture stacked up. It always smelled damp and musty down there. The fluorescent lights buzzed and flickered when they even worked at all. A lot of the time, you had to bring a flashlight just to see where you were going. When I first started, one of the older custodians told me to avoid the basement unless I absolutely had to go down there. He said it wasn't worth the trouble and joked that it was haunted.
Yeah, bro, you laughed along. You laugh like he ain't joking though. He ain't joking. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have been like, bro, you're serious? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just being dead serious. Like, is it haunted for real? You know what I'm saying? Like all that little laughing and joking around, bro. Like, be serious with me. Like, is it really haunted, gang?
Along, but even in that first week, I noticed how uneasy I felt in that part of the building. It was like stepping into a different world compared to the bright hallways upstairs. There were nights when I would pass the door to the basement and feel a chill just from looking at it, but usually I didn't have to go down there. So I avoided it whenever possible. One night, about 2 years into the job, I had a list of tasks taped to my cart, and one of them was to bring up a set of folding chairs for an event. I groaned as soon as I saw it, because the only place those chairs were kept was the basement. I remember standing at the top of the basement stairwell door for a good minute just debating if I could ask my supervisor if it could wait till morning, but I didn't want to look lazy, so I grabbed my flashlight and opened the heavy door. The stairwell echoed with every step I took, like my boots were way too loud. I got to the bottom and flipped the switch, but only a couple of the overhead lights came on. They left most of the hallway in darkness. I swear it smelled like wet cement down there. I turned on my flashlight and started walking. The chairs were supposed to be in the second storage room on the left. The first room was full of old desks piled all the way to the ceiling. The second door was half rusted, and it squealed like nails on a chalkboard when I pulled it open. Inside, the room smelled like dust and wood polish. The folding chairs were stacked against the wall.
All right, y'all want me to tell y'all, I think my house is haunted. Y'all probably, I just had to say that. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say it after this, but I feel like my house is haunted. You know what I'm saying? Literally, bro. I was in the kitchen yesterday, bro. And it's just real. I was in the kitchen yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And I got this little lunchbox on top of my freaking refrigerator. Bro, I swear for y'all, bro, all my life, the lunchbox fell over on its own. Standing up, bro. Standing up, bro. It fell over on its own. Like, it's like somebody tipped over the lunchbox, bro. Another incident, bro. Even, it happened yesterday. Bro, I had a couple glass fall over, bro, in my freaking sink. I had a freaking couple glass, but bro, I ran over. What the freak? Another incident. I was in my freaking room. The kitchen is right here. Bro, I heard like a chair push back, bro. bro, I really, and I just had to tell you that, bro, I feel like my house is freaking haunted, bro. It be no explanation with stuff. And another thing, I was sleeping in my freaking bed right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the freaking, bro, no devil or Satan. Bro, I'm sleeping on the side of my freaking bed. I told y'all this. Some of y'all probably, I'm sleeping on, like, by my window. Bro, I heard a freaking, like, it was by my bed. Like, bro, something just, like somebody banged on my freaking bed with their fist, bro. I wasn't even scared, bro. And it's another one, y'all. It was yesterday, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Freaking house, bro. It's something with this freaking house, bro. Bro, I swear on my life. Right hand of God on my dead cousin, bro. You know what I mean? My sister, bro, when she was little, bro, I swear, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? Sleeping gang. I'm sleeping gang. You feel me? I'm sleeping, bro. And I swear on my life, y'all. Somebody said, Jalen. Bro, I swear on my life. My dead little cousin, bro. Somebody screamed out my freaking name, bro. Like, it was like freaking 2 days ago, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm not even trying to scare y'all right now, bro. I'm dead for real, bro. I was sleeping, bro. Somebody yelled my freaking name. And I wasn't even scared, bro. But it was like a deep freaking voice, bro. It was like a deep voice that Jalen. It was like, what the freak, nigga? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't scared. It was like a freaking, just a deep voice said my freaking name, bro. Y'all ever had that, bro? Y'all ever had that freaking, what's the name, bro? Somebody call your freaking name and you go outside like, bro, you just call me. You just call me. Y'all ever had somebody call your name, bro? You like, call me, gang? Bro, I swear on my life, bro. Call my freaking name, bro. It sound like my dad's voice, bro. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? It sound like the nigga voice. I with the freak gang. You know what I'm saying? Telling you, man. I don't know what it is about this freaking house, bro. It be some weird stuff going on in this freaking house, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like I don't even be scared, though. It's crazy. Like a normal person would be like, I'm not saying I ain't normal, but he said, I don't be scared, bro. Like if that would have happened to anybody else, I know somebody would have been scared as freak. It was like, me, I wasn't even scared. Like, I just looked. Like, I was like, what the freak? You know what I'm saying? But then I just went back to sleep. I ain't gonna lie. It's weird with me. Like, I ain't get scared. You know what I'm saying?
I bent down and started pulling them out.
I guess that's just like with me watching, like, a lot of scary movies, gang. No, I think I'm immune to that junk. I think that's kind of bad, being immune to it. I think I'm immune to that freaking junk.
Stacked against the wall in uneven piles. I bent down and started pulling them out, trying to carry as many as I could at once so I wouldn't have to make so many trips. I had just picked up 4 when I froze. From somewhere out in the hallway, I heard a soft dragging sound, like someone was slowly sliding their shoe across the floor.
What the freak?
I held my breath, still bent over with the chairs in my arms, listening as hard as I could. The sound stopped. I straightened up and peeked my head out into the hallway, shining the flashlight both ways. The beam cut through the dark, but there was nothing there. My heart was thumping in my ears. I stood there for what felt like forever before.
And then you try to like make up some of your mind, like, bruh, nah, I must have been tweaking or something. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I be catching myself doing that. Like when I seen that lunchbox fall over, I'm like, bro, that must have been a freaking AC or something. But man, bro, the lunchbox never fall. And it's like, it's not on the edge of the refrigerator. It's like, nigga, it's in the middle of the refrigerator, nigga. That's what made it even more creepy. I'm like, bro, it's not even on the edge of it. It's like, it's a lunchbox. It's always on the top of my refrigerator. Never fall. You cannot, bro, that junk will not fall, bro. Unless somebody like tip that junk over, bro. That junk tipped over, nigga. So it's like in my head, I'm like, bro, it's the AC, nigga. But in real time, nigga, I'm like, oh, no, hey, no. In real time, I'm like, oh, freak, no. Nah, freak, no. It's different, bro. Like I said, it's different, bro, when you experienced it before. This is not my first time experiencing crazy. Bro, I've been experiencing weird stuff since I've been a little kid, bro. I've been, like, experiencing stuff like this, bro. So it hit different with me. It's like, I'm not the type of person to be on some, like, man, it's like the AC. It's like, in my, I'll be like, bro, oh, shoot. Like, oh, shoot. Just, you know what I'm saying? I've been dealing with this junk since a little baby, bro. No cap, bro. I don't know what it is with me. I think it's just been the devil always messing with me, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. Been like that ever since I was a little kid, bro. Having shadows following me, bro. All type of stuff, bro. Seeing Veggie Tales, seeing toys talking. Bro, I seen some ish, bro. That's what I be trying to tell y'all, bro. Y'all think that paranormal. I ain't saying paranormal. I'm just saying it's a different world out here, bro. It's not just us out here. There's things around us, bro, that we can't freaking see, bro. And I'm telling y'all this. Do not play around with that junk. That junk is overly real. I've seen stuff with my own freaking eyes. And it's not even trying to scare you. It's real, bro. That spiritual world is real. It's not no such thing as ghosts, but spirits out here, bro. Spirits.
Finally telling myself it was probably
Telling you.
pipes.
See?
Or maybe I had shifted the
Heck
chair
no.
without realizing it. I carried the first load out into the hallway and toward the stairs. As I walked, I suddenly felt a cold draft against my face. It was so out of place that it made me stop mid-step. The basement was always warm and stale, with no windows and no moving air. This felt like standing next to an open freezer. I shined my light up and down the hallway, but nothing looked different.
Forgot it, man.
I shook it off, set the chairs at the bottom of the stairs, and went back for more.
F that.
When I walked into the storage room again, something felt off. The stack of chairs looked different somehow, like they had shifted while I was gone. I frowned at them, trying to remember exactly how they'd been leaning. I finally told myself I was just being paranoid and picked up another load.
F that.
This time, as I turned to leave, I heard it again. A thump, followed by a scraping sound. It came from farther down the basement hallway. My flashlight beam shook in my hand as I aimed it that way. About 20 feet down, one of the classroom doors that should have been closed tight was cracked open. My stomach dropped. I knew I hadn't touched that door.
Freak out.
School was locked up every night, and no one was supposed to be there except me. I stood frozen in the doorway of the storage room, staring at that cracked door. Every part of me screamed to drop the chairs and run upstairs.
Freak out of there.
I stood there. I told myself maybe the door had come loose, or maybe when I opened another door, the air pressure had shifted.
Y'all don't blame him, y'all. That's just how it be, y'all. I'm telling y'all, that's just how it be. You don't be believing that jump, bro. You're like, what the freak, bro? Nah, hey, nah, bro. Maybe you know what I'm saying? Y'all probably like, bro, just eat. Bro, it just be, bro, it be hitting different, bro. This probably his first experience too, bro. First experience, you don't be believing that jump, but hey, nah, brother. The freaking air probably didn't, hey, nah. Y'all see, a lot of y'all don't understand because you never been in that position, bro, but you just started like, man, freak, nah, hey, nah, I'm tweaking. Maybe it was like the AC or something. You just start making excuses because it's just like you never experienced that jump before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nigga, you can, it's like in awe, bro. You be like trying to make up every excuse in your head, bro. Like, man, heck, nah, okay. Something, man, heck, no. The door probably was open and I ain't see it was open. You try to make every excuse, bro, to be like, man, the junk ain't real, gang. You know what I mean?
I clung to those excuses like a lifeline. I carried the chairs quickly to the stairwell and came back with my flashlight in one hand, empty-handed this time. The cracked door was still there, open just enough for someone to peek out. My throat went dry. I crept toward it slowly, each step echoing. When I was close, I called out, "Hello, anyone down here?" My voice cracked, and it sounded small in the big empty basement. No answer. I swallowed hard, then pushed the door open fast with my free hand.
Freak gang? What the freak was that?
No answer. I swallowed hard, then pushed the door open fast with my free hand and shined the flashlight inside. The room was empty. Just shelves of dusty science equipment, boxes stacked high, cobwebs in the corners. I stepped inside for a second, heart racing, listening for any sound. That's when I heard it again, a dragging shuffle, but this time it was behind me in the hallway. I spun around and pointed the flashlight, with the beam cutting down the corridor. Nothing, just shadows and concrete, but I felt it, that heavy pressure you get when you know you're being watched. My skin prickled all over. I didn't care about the chairs anymore. I backed up slowly, keeping the flashlight aimed down the hallway, and made my way toward the stairwell. When I got to the stairs, I grabbed the chairs I'd left and carried them up 2 steps at a time. I didn't stop until I was back in the main hallway upstairs, gasping for breath. I leaned against the wall, sweating even though the school was cold. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe it had been rats or water pipes, but I couldn't explain the cracked door. I locked the stairwell door behind me, even though I wasn't supposed to, and I didn't go back down for the rest of the night. A week later, I was mopping the hallway right above the basement stairs when I heard it again. 3 loud bangs, evenly spaced, like someone hitting the wall with their fist. The mop slipped out of my hand, water dripping onto the tiles. I froze and listened. Then I heard the basement door rattle like someone had shoved it from the other side. My blood went cold. I didn't open it. I stood there, gripping the mop handle until the sound stopped. After that, I refused to go down into the basement alone. If anything needed to come up, I'd wait until another custodian was there. I never told the others what I heard because I knew they'd either laugh or tell me it was the so-called ghost. But I know what I felt, and I know what I heard. To this day, when I think about those slow dragging footsteps behind me, I feel sick to my stomach.
Shoot, I believe it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of the people, bro. I'm gonna believe you, bro. I'm telling you, I ain't one of the people that think life a game, bro. You said what? I said, nigga, you said what? You know what I'm saying? you know, it ain't gonna take too much to convince me, bro. I got you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going down there either. You know what I mean? I guess I'm gonna get fired then. It is what it is. I get fired. All right. Hey, look, bro. I said I ain't going down there, gang. Well, you're gonna have to go down there. Hey, look, I guess I'm fired. I guess I ain't fit for the job then, man. Yeah, guess you gotta find another custodian. You know what I mean? Cause I ain't going down there. You know what I mean? You feel me? So I guess, you know, I'm gonna have to get fired then. Fired, I quit. Think I'm finna deal with that, but you crazy as your damn mind. And it's nighttime too, but stop.
I worked as a custodian at a high school for 3 years.
SMD, nigga, SMD.
I was the newest guy on the team, so most of the time I got stuck with the overnight shifts. The building was huge, 4 floors and 2
God,
doors.
I'm on.
And at night, when it was empty, it felt like a giant maze. The rule was to go floor by floor, room by room, turning off lights, emptying trash, and locking doors. It usually took the whole night to cover everything, and if you tried to rush, you'd miss something. One Friday night, I was working alone because one of the other custodians had called out sick. Normally, we worked in pairs, so I wasn't used to being the only one on duty. At first, the shift was normal. I started on the first floor, emptying trash cans, wiping down surfaces, and mopping the hallways. The lights in some of the old corridors flickered, which made the shadows jump around, but I told myself it was just the building settling. Around midnight, I made my way up to the 3rd floor. That floor always gave me a bad feeling because it was quieter than the others. It had a lot of older classrooms that weren't used anymore, some permanently locked, and others were just storage rooms filled with dusty books, broken furniture, and old lab equipment.
Ain't gonna lie, that's why I love Langston, bro. I ain't gonna lie, boy. I used to skip so much on Langston. Langston was huge. I'm talking about huge. It was so easy. I'm talking about, but you had 1 floor, then you had 2 floors. I think it was a 3rd floor too. It was a 3rd floor. You had 3 floors, boy, just like this, but it was just huge, bro. You know what I'm saying? I used to skip so much. It was hard for me to skip. You know what I'm saying? Be on the walkie-talkie. Yeah, he's on Yellow Hall. He is on Yellow Hall. You know what I mean? Had Officer Starks. You know what I mean? If you try to skip at Langston, gang, I ain't gonna lie, it was hard as heck to skip at Langston. I ain't gonna count to you. You know what I mean? Dr. Isom, oh my God. Isom, Mr. Grant, you knew not to go on Blue Hall. Hey, if everybody that went to Langston, you knew not to go to Blue Hall. Dr. Isom and Mr. Grant. You hear them keys? Oh, shoot. You know what I mean? Red Hall was cool. I used to be on Red Hall. You know what I mean? Red Hall, and Yellow Hall was kinda, Yellow Hall too, Yellow Hall and Green Hall, you had that boy, Mr. Menace. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really going Green Hall like that, but yeah, Blue Hall and Green Hall was like the no-go spots for real. You know what I mean? But then you had Red Hall, and you had Yellow Hall, and yeah. You know what I'm saying? You had to know how to maneuver out there, you feel me? But it was really, you know, I was a known face around there. So, you know, you had this little dude in the middle, bro. Bro was like, you ever watch Toy Story? That little monkey that watching the cameras? Bro, he had this one nigga in the middle, bro, all day. This nigga used to just be watching cameras all day. Nigga be on the walkie-talkie. Hey, here's on Red Hall. Here's on Green Hall. Here's on Yellow Hall. Yeah, Jalen is walking down Green Hall. Jalen is walking down Green Hall. You know, like all bro did literally, bro, like literally was watch cameras. That was his job, watching cameras. You know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta watch out for that nigga right there.
I walked down the hallway, past the lockers. The metallic.
I know a lot of y'all probably like, bro, why you just stay in class, man? F class. I never liked school. I always been that type of kid. I knew it, like, when football ain't work out, you know what I'm saying? When you know, when stuff happened with football, I knew I wasn't going to college. I've never liked school, bro. Ever liked school. You know what I mean? I get bored, bro. I don't care what you talking about, gang. School was just boring to me. That's just boring. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, like, when it comes to school, a lot of people be thinking, that's what people used to be thinking back then, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to, like people, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I ain't show nobody my report card. I ain't show nobody my progress report. You know what I'm saying? Especially progress report, but straight up. You know what I mean? I used to hope my sister went. You know, my sister was a little snitch back then. You know what I mean? So, you know, she was like a goody back in school. So, you know, she ready to go show pops their progress report. You feel me? You know me, I say, man, act like I'm looking at my book bag, acting like I knew I threw that thing away. You know what I mean? I used to get beat down for everything. Nigga, you better have that progress report when you get home. Nigga, you better have that progress report when you get home, nigga. Nigga threw it away and everything. Had a couple F's on that mother. You know what I'm saying? Nigga threw it away. I said, nigga, I'm gonna throw this progress report away and I'm gonna act like I lost it. You know what I mean? Looking at my book bag. Nigga, where that progress report at? Nigga, yeah. I swear I had it in the book bag. Looking in the book bag, knowing dang well I threw that joke away. I don't know, Pot. Must have fell out my backpack. So, you know what I'm saying? Straight beat down. That nigga used to go to the school. That nigga finding any way to beat me down. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. That boy used to go to the school and everything, ask my progress report. Ask the teachers, put my grade up in there. I'm like, golly, nigga want to beat me down bag, eh? Golly, could he going this far for a progress report? This ain't the final straw, nigga. Nigga, the report card is the final one. That nigga wanted the progress report and everything.
The doors and the echo of my boots against the tiles made me jump a few times. I kept reminding myself it was normal. I was halfway through mopping one of the main hallways when I noticed a door about 20 feet away was open. That struck me immediately because I had already checked all the rooms earlier in the evening, and every door had been locked. My first instinct was to walk past it quickly and ignore it.
Close it, nigga.
Something made me stop. I set my mop against the wall and walked over slowly, trying to make as little noise as possible. The door was one of those old wooden classroom doors with a square glass window. I pushed it open slowly, shining my flashlight inside. The room looked empty. The desks were stacked along the walls and boxes were in the corners. Nothing seemed out of place at first glance, but then I noticed that one of the boxes near the back wall had been moved. It was tilted, not lined up with the others, and there were scuff marks on the floor, like it had been dragged across the tiles. My stomach sank. I knew I had closed that door earlier, and I knew I hadn't moved that box. I told myself it was probably nothing, just my imagination playing tricks. I was tired. I pulled the door closed and went back to mopping, but my mind kept wandering to that room. I kept thinking I should check the windows, maybe a student had snuck in somehow, but all the windows were locked from the inside, and the hallway doors were locked as well. I tried to shake the feeling of being watched and focused on the cleaning. After finishing that hallway, I went down to the stairwell to head to the second floor. As I walked past that same classroom again, my heart nearly stopped.
Door open?
The door was wide open. My breath caught in my throat. I knew I had shut it before. I slowly stepped closer. I peeked inside, and the room looked normal, except the box was now moved to the center of the floor. My pulse was racing. I whispered, "Hello? Who's in here?" My voice sounded tiny in the emptiness of the building. I waited, but there was silence. And then from the back of the room, I heard slow, deep breathing. Not a gust of wind or a pipe. It was someone trying to be quiet, but making sure I could hear it. I tried to convince myself it was a student hiding, playing a prank. But how would they have gotten in? I was the only one who was supposed to be there, and all the doors were locked. I slammed the door shut and ran down the hallway to the stairwell. My heart was hammering, and sweat ran down my back. I stayed pressed against the stairwell door, listening. I debated calling my supervisor, even though I hated bothering him in the middle of the night. Finally, I did. When he picked up, I told him what was happening, trying to keep my voice steady. He said he would be there in 20 minutes. Those 20 minutes felt like hours. I stayed as far away from that room as possible, peeking over my shoulder every few seconds. Finally, he arrived. We went back up together. He had a big flashlight and walked straight into the classroom. The box was still in the middle of the floor. We checked everywhere, the closets, under the tables, behind the desks. There was nothing. He suggested I was just tired or imagining things. I didn't argue, but I knew what I had heard. That slow, heavy breathing. I tried to finish the rest of my shift with him there, but I kept glancing at that classroom. The hallway felt colder and more oppressive than ever. Even sweeping and mopping didn't distract me. Every time I passed a locker, I expected it to swing open. Every shadow seemed like a person standing just out of view. Weeks later, when I worked with another custodian, he told me that years ago, a student had been caught hiding in that classroom overnight. They had snuck in to play a prank, but it scared the staff so much that they never used that room again. It made sense, but it didn't explain the breathing I heard that night. There was no one else in the school. I finished the shift and left, but every time I thought about it, my stomach twisted. I started taking extra precautions. I made sure all the doors were locked as I passed. I kept my flashlight pointed at the floor and stayed near the stairwell if I had to pass that hallway. Months later, I had another overnight shift alone. I avoided that third floor for as long as possible. When I finally had to go up, I moved as quickly as I could. I kept thinking I'd hear it again. The feeling of being watched didn't go away. Even when I was in a room far from that classroom, I felt like eyes were on me. Every creak of the floor made me jump.
Crazy how you can feel like eyes on you though, bro. You know what I'm saying? No cap. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like just somebody watching you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, should I be feeling like that sometimes? Like somebody freaking watching me, bro. I don't know why I feel like it's just eyes on me. You know what I mean? You be looking around like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody just watching me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like this all the time. I feel like this now. You know what I mean?
I finished the shift and left quickly, never looking back. I refused to work that floor alone again. Even years later, I avoided it whenever I could. I never found out if it had been a student hiding or something else, but I'll never forget the sound of that breathing, coming from a classroom that should have been empty. I can still hear it in my head sometimes.
I couldn't be no janitor, boy. Heck no, boy. Staying over there overnight, boy, in the school by yourself. Heck no. Count me out, G.
I worked as a night custodian at an old high school for 2 years. The worst part of the job was always the auditorium. It was massive, with 3 levels of seating, a big stage, and long heavy curtains that hung from the ceiling. During the day, it looked normal, but at night, when the building was empty, it felt like stepping into a completely different place. Even with the lights on, there were shadows in every corner that seemed darker than they should be. Sound carried strangely in there. If you dropped a broom, the echo would stretch and bounce, making it hard to tell exactly where the sound came from. Most nights, I saved the auditorium for last because I hated going in there. There was just something about it that always made my skin crawl. Near the end of winter one year, I had to clean it earlier than usual because there was going to be a play the next morning. I arrived around midnight, dragging my cart behind me. The side door creaked loudly as I opened it, and when it slammed shut behind me, the echo traveled across the empty room. I started by sweeping the
Dang, bro, I ain't know y'all be there that late, bro. You know what I'm saying? They be there at midnight. Golly, I ain't know that, bro. Shoot.
Between the seats. The chairs were old, metal folding seats bolted to the floor in some rows, and in other rows, they were loose. As I pushed the broom, I listened to the scraping sound echo off the walls and ceiling. After a few minutes, I thought I heard something else. It was faint at first, like a soft rustling from the stage. I froze, thinking maybe a prop had fallen over, but when I looked, the stage was empty. I shook my head and told myself it was nothing. I continued sweeping. A few minutes later, I heard it again. This time it was more distinct, the sound of slow footsteps across the stage. I stopped sweeping and looked toward the stage. I could see the stacked props in the corners. Nothing moved, but the sound was real. My breathing became shallow. I slowly climbed the steps onto the stage, shining the flashlight behind the curtains. There were ropes, pulleys, old chairs, and painted scenery stacked against the walls.
Freak is that up there? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm like, hold on, what the freak is that up there, boy?
Everything was covered in dust.
Freak?
And the beam of my light made it dance like it was moving. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was nearby. I backed off the stage, telling myself it was just the building settling, maybe a mouse in the rafters, but the feeling didn't go away. I continued sweeping down the aisles, trying to finish as fast as possible. My mind kept going back to the stage. The sound of those slow footsteps repeated in my head, even though I couldn't hear them anymore. I finished sweeping the lower level and started mopping. As I pushed the mop through the rows, I thought I saw a shadow move across the second tier of seats. I moved my flashlight toward the seats, but nothing was there. I tried to tell myself it was a trick of the light. I kept my back to the wall as I moved, feeling as if someone were behind me. I had nearly finished mopping the main floor when I heard it again. A whisper. I couldn't make out words, but it was low, and it was coming from the balcony seats above me.
I'm like, bro, I'm not finna stay in here. I'm like, bro, one thing about me, I don't play about junk like this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me get away back, bro. I'm not finna play around with this junk. I'm out. I drop him out. All right, bro, I'm gone. Got it. You know what I'm saying? I got it. You got it. You know what I'm saying? F the money. F all that junk, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't play around with stuff like this, bro. You know what I mean? I ain't finna, oh, yeah, I need the money. F the money, bro. F it. You know what I mean? F it. I'm good, bro. I'm cool, bro. I can work another job and I ain't got to deal with this BS. I ain't got to deal with whispering. I got to deal with footsteps going across the auditorium. I'm like, either you change me to the other shit, bro, and I'm done, man. I'm done.
Barely finished mopping the main floor when I heard it again. A whisper. I couldn't make out words, but it was low, and it was coming from the balcony seats above me. My heart was now hammering, my flashlight's beam trembling in my hands. I wanted to run, but I didn't. I had to finish the job.
That job!
I told myself it was someone outside, or maybe a janitor who had forgotten something, but I knew I was alone. I kept mopping slowly, my ears straining. The whispering continued, almost like it was moving closer. I tried calling out, but I was so nervous that my voice sounded weak. There was no answer, only the echo of my voice. I finished mopping the main floor and started cleaning the stage itself. The steps up felt endless, and every time I moved my flashlight, I thought I saw something just at the edge of the beam. Sometimes it was a flicker of a shadow, sometimes it was just my imagination. When I reached the stage, I looked over the edge of the main floor. The seats stretched back in the darkness. I shined the flashlight into the balcony, and for a moment, I thought I saw a figure sitting there. Just a silhouette. But when I blinked, it was gone.
The freak, bro.
I told myself it was a chair or a coat, but the feeling didn't leave me.
F that.
I started dusting and moving props, trying to focus on something physical. The whispering came again, much clearer this time. It sounded like someone speaking my name, almost directly behind me. I spun around so fast that the flashlight slipped in my hands. The stage was empty. Nothing. The props were still stacked in the same place, and the curtains didn't move. But I knew I hadn't imagined the voice. I backed away slowly with my heart racing, and I moved toward the side door. I stopped at the edge of the stage and listened. I could hear soft footsteps on the upper levels, moving slowly across the balcony. I told myself it was impossible. The auditorium was locked. No one else should have been there. The footsteps continued, stopping and starting as if someone were pacing and watching me. I finally ran to the door, grabbed the handle, and pulled it open. The cold night air hit me like a wall, and I felt relief, but I could still hear the faint echo of footsteps above, fading away slowly. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely lock the door behind me. I leaned against it, catching my breath, feeling the sweat running down my forehead.
That's how you know you nervous, when you sweating in the cold. That's how you know you scared, when you sweating in the cold.
Catching my breath, feeling the sweat running down my forehead. I didn't go back inside that night. The next morning, I tried to tell another custodian about what happened, and he laughed at me, saying it's an old building and probably just settles or something. But I'm not convinced. That whispering voice and my name being called so softly and deliberately, and the footsteps pacing above me, I felt them in the air around me. Weeks later, I learned that years ago, a drama teacher had died suddenly in that auditorium during rehearsal. Heart attack right on stage in front of students. People said sometimes you could still hear him walking the stage at night, or hear whispers in the seats. I tried to convince myself it's just a story, that the sounds were normal for an old building. But the way that voice whispered my name and the footsteps echoed, I could never forget it. Maybe I was going crazy, I don't know. After that night, I refused to clean the auditorium. I quit that job not long after, but sometimes, even when other people were in the building, I would feel the same cold pressure in the auditorium, and feel that same way about being watched. I know what I experienced was real, at least real to me. I've never had any kind of schizophrenic episodes or anything like that.
That's what I'm saying.
So this whole thing still just baffles me to this day.
Ain't you, bro? I believe, bro. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? I believe you, gang. You know what I mean? But hey, stuff like that be real, y'all. Be trying to tell y'all, bro. The dude that laughed at him, Nothing ever happened to him like that, bro. You feel me? So he's just laughing like, bro, it's just all right. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me what the freak I heard, gang. Can't tell me what the freak I heard. I hate when people try to make it seem like I'm crazy. I ain't crazy, G. You know what I'm saying? I ain't crazy, bro. I know what the freak I heard. I know what the freak I saw. You feel me? But anyways, man, it's your boy Jay, man. Take it easy. We ain't like bees, man. Your boy Jay out, man. Gang.